I'd call the city council meeting of Tuesday, October 11th to order. Please rise for the invocation, stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Dear God, our divine spirit, creator of all there is and ever shall be, we thank you for the blessings that you have bestowed upon our city. We thank you for the blessings of our police department, our fire department, all the city workers, our mayor and council, and our city manager. We ask you to guide us through these difficult times and to grant extra blessings for our city and for all the people who are harmed in the hurricane and those that have passed on. For this we are thankful. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Schock.
Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Yes, sir. Mayor Dale Masad.
Here.
Vice Mayor Terrence Rowe.
Here.
Councilwoman Nancy Britton.
Here.
Councilwoman Jenny Sorrell.
Here.
Councilman William Dittmer.
Here.
City Attorney Jim Matthew.
Here.
And City Manager Vincent Lupo.
Here.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Done. I have an announcements. Any staff announcements? Everybody good? Good?
I actually have one.
Okay.
I wanted to let the council know that the city successfully closed the refunding of the bonds. We saved approximately $311,000, 10.23%.
That's our job. I would like to recognize Officer Cox and Lou. If they're here, they would like to speak on a later agenda item. You didn't have to dress up for me, Pat.
Anything for you, sir. We just wanted to say thank you to everybody and to let everybody know how fortunate we are to have Jerry DeCanio come in as police chief. I've known Jerry for years. I believe the city is going to be very happy with the choices that are made. And as an officer here for 18 years, I can tell you that this is probably the best council as well as administration that we have. And I believe this city will be the blueprint for other cities to follow after. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I mimic what Pat says. Thank you, council. Thank you, city manager. Welcome, chief. You have your support back here in the audience. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, under announcements, I would like to read you something. America's most affordable and least affordable beach towns. Guess who's number one? Artie, you guessed. Port Richey. I can't read from here. At any rate, Port Richey's number one, and our waterfront prices are the lowest, and that I intend to have changed. Comments from the general public, drive up. Anybody talking? Mr. Todd, I wouldn't know.
Matthew Todd, 5113 Mallet Drive. I'd like to thank the council, city manager, for hiring our police chief. It's about time. And now we have the best police chief that any city could have. No ands, if, buts about it. And your police officers are more than thrilled. Thank you very much.
Anyone else from the public? Mr. Tom.
Thomas Brown, 7436 Candlelight Court. Thank you, city personnel, for investigating the sources of flooding in the Candlelight subdivision. It's so nice to see the mayor, the city manager, code enforcement, and the police department on Candlelight Court. I will skip my speech pertaining to Lake Cox tonight because it seems it will be addressed later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Hi, Artie. Okay, moving along. Mayor and council, comments? Mr. Rowe?
Well, welcome everyone, and we are excited. The changes that are occurring are, I think, going to take us in a new direction. I believe we are going to see some very positive change through the city, and I'm excited, and I'm sure the rest of the council is, and we welcome you all aboard.
Anyone else want to speak? I gotta keep talking, guys, I'm sorry. Saw the new officer polo shirts. I don't know if they like it, but I like it.
Bless you.
They're, Officer Russo has one on. A little nicer, a little friendlier, and I'm sure we're gonna keep that part going. Need a community, police service. I think this city is running, and I think we can do this. I just see bright skies, and it's gonna continue. So, got that all down. We will go to the agenda. I need a motion for the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, wonderful. Another thing, Mr. Mc,
My turn.
got your name, his turn, but welcome.
City Council, Mr. Mayor, and good people of the city of Port Richey. I would like to introduce two individuals who are new members to our staff, but not necessarily new members to our community. We have now, in the presence of Mr. James Washington, our new chief building official. Mr. Washington fills a very deep gap that this community has, and he will move forward, given his background, given the level of care and responsibility he has already demonstrated in a short time he's been on board. I am absolutely certain that the community will begin to understand, and I use the word understand advisedly, what our rules and regulations and laws are with respect to growth management, buildings, building inspections, code enforcement, and we can go down the litany. So with that, I would like to introduce our new chief building official, Mr. James Washington. Welcome aboard, sir.
We have needed you a long time, my friend. Do you have more?
Yes, sir. It is again my distinct pleasure, after having reviewed many of the transcripts of this city council and many of the goals and objectives of this city council, to move forward in a quick, cost-effective manner and to select an individual who is uniquely qualified to become this community's new City of Port Richey Chief of Police. And that man is Mr. Gerald DeCanio. One of the distinctive issues concerning Mr. DeCanio's background, aside from his vaunted career, is the fact that he has been here before. He knows many of the people involved in this community. We have met, we have discussed issues concerning this police department. We would like to move forward, he would like to move forward with a more user-friendly police department, a police department that is going to be oriented on customer care. Their motto is, in fact, to protect and serve. This police department will do, under Mr. DeCanio, Chief DeCanio, will do exactly that. They will enforce our rules, laws, and regulations They will endeavor to keep you, the citizens of this community, safe. They will do it in a courteous, professional manner, because that is the credo that Chief DeCanio and I have. And I assure you that you will be abundantly pleased in the efforts placed forward by our new chief and his staff. And with that, welcome aboard, Chief DeCanio.
No tinted windows. Let's see these guys.
No, sir, that comes through me.
Okay. We are on to number 3, Mr. Duffy, surplus property. Mr. Lupo, you want to take that?
Certainly. We have looked long and hard at this piece of property. We've had many discussions with Mr. Duffy. I have I've had the good fortune in having Mr. Matthews, our city attorney, who also looked at the issue. We've drawn up all of the various documents and papers, and at this point in time, we are convinced that the best possible use of this property would be to return it back to the tax rolls and to allow the city to allow the city to work with Mr. Duffy to complete any negotiations with respect to releasing this property to Mr. Duffy. Mr. Matthew, if you have any additional statements, sir?
Just a couple. There's no state laws specifically on getting rid of surplus property. Our ordinances only have to do with personal property, not real property. After reviewing some of the ethics laws, I highly recommend the following, which is pretty much following some of the county rules. Number one, if the city council needs to put on the record the reason they feel that it's selling this property, the city has no use for the property, okay? And this is a good thing, and it's in the city's best interest. Number two, that all adjacent property owners be notified, which is one property owner, which, when we get to the specifics of this, earlier the city had decided it wanted the property, it didn't want to sell it because it was access to the canal, but apparently somebody owns that property, that person will have to be notified to see if they want to purchase the property. If they do, it would go to a private sale, would take the highest bidder. Outside of that, it would just be a matter of price. I recommend an appraisal.
A motion to declare the property surplus.
Yeah, you should have some conversation that, where it is, describe it, why the city doesn't need it anymore. Presently, is it Duffy? They have an easement for the property so they could drive their car across it, and they keep it insured and things like that. So everybody, just have some discussion on that would be more than enough, Mr. Mayor.
What I know about this property, I met Mr. Duffy campaigning. It's a triangular piece that he keeps, and it's our property. Doesn't appear to be there any use that I can think of, although we're gonna keep an easement to it. And the only reason I can think of would be if the DEP wanted us to go through Miller's Bayou into Salt Springs and create a flush, and he's well aware of that, and that's really it. And it's very rare that you find somebody that keeps your property and then wants to pay you for it, so. Any other thoughts? I can tell you what I know, and
No, this little piece has been hanging out there by itself for a long time, and it really makes no sense for us to hang on to it. So I'll make the motion to declare the parcel be declared surplus property.
Second.
okay. Out to public, anyone want to speak to this? Okay, back to council. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Matthew, you are on for red light cameras, I believe.
Okay, give me 1 second. Oh, okay. If I can make this simple. At the last council meeting, council inquired as to the city's potential liability in the event that red light cameras became outlawed by the state, for the lack of a better word. I would have thought it would be a simple question. It turned out to be somewhat complex, and I won't take you through all the legalities here, but presently we have a 10-year contract with ATS, American Traffic Solutions, which expires in 2020. That contract was executed in March of 2010, and then in July of 2010, which is the last document in the agenda package, the city amended its contract for this specific termination provision. Previously, the termination provision was that if it became illegal, we didn't have to pay anything, but this changed it, and as it says, for legal reasons, in the event there's any legislation outlawing the cameras, we have to pay ATS for the costs they've expended in putting in the cameras to be offset by any monies they've received. Now, after a substantial amount of research, I realized that the state law had changed, and the reason this was passed is not because somebody did bad negotiating, but because they had to put this provision in because the state law did not allow the red light camera vendors to have any financial interest in the outcome of the tickets. Okay, so this was put in to comply with the law. It was done properly, and everybody has this in their contracts. Having gone down that path to answer your question, I presume the question you would ask me, well, Jim, if that does happen, do we have any liability, right? So I'd like to thank Erin here in finance, because we spent a couple of days here trying to get this information. But the long and the short of it is the ATS has expended in excess of $1 million, but we've paid them in excess of $1 million. It's about $1.3 million. And finally, this morning, we got the figures that if it was outlawed today, we would owe ATS $66,820, so they say. And that's going down every month, so in the next few months, just by timing, we don't have nothing.
So 3-4
That's
months.
pretty much it. Yeah, it'll
Right.
just be going away. We've opened up the doors for some further conversations with them, so in terms of the cameras themselves, so the bottom line is that pretty much, it's been 6 years, so if it happens, there's nothing to worry about. And not to belabor the point, but if you see my memo, the last paragraph, so if you weren't worried about that, there is the other issue of that we're a party to a lawsuit for the last several years concerning the cameras that's been going on. We have coverage for it, insurance coverage, which may or may not cover us. I'm sure Mr. Public had probably made this public before. They may cover us, they may not, but in any event, they're defending us in numerous other cities and counties across the state. I get updates every week or two.
Who's defending?
Our insurance carrier.
Oh.
So we have a firm, Rapper or whatever it is. We're in contact with them all the time. We have several layers of defense. A very good case came out a couple of weeks ago that made them legal. So now there's 2 cases at the same level heading up. In addition to whether they make it legal or illegal at the Florida Supreme Court, which will probably happen a year from now, we still have sovereign immunity, which means governmental immunity. So we have a whole bunch of things. So the chance of us having to give the money back for the tickets, I think is very, very slim.
What are they suing us for?
They're suing us to get the money back for the tickets we've collected since the inception of this contract.
Class action suit.
It's a class action suit.
The public is suing.
Yes, there's a class action. All the public is suing all the municipalities and counties to get their money back for red light cameras because they feel they were illegal. That's the lawsuit.
So you don't feel like we're in,
I don't think so. I can, if anything positive or negative comes up, I'll keep you informed. Even if it's determined that they're illegal, doesn't mean we have to give them the money back. We have sovereign immunity, which we can apply, and that's a separate type of lawsuit that's pending out there that they're going to the federal courts on. And in addition to that, depending on the nature of the decision made, our insurance carrier might actually cover us.
so going back to that other thing,
Sure.
we're zeroing out in 2 or 3, 4 months.
Yes, the other thing is not an
Do they
issue.
start paying us after that?
We make about, in case you're wondering, we make about $300,000 a year net.
Yes.
We have revenues 3 times that, but if the red light cameras went away, it's $300,000 we'd lose. So it's a lot, but not as much as it used to be. Any questions on all that? Water?
Vodka?
Good? Glad nobody asked me how many tickets we'd have to pay back, okay, because that's a big figure. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I
Yes,
may.
sir.
What's that?
Please.
Oh, you want one? I thought you were telling me to drink one, okay. No,
Mr.
that's all I have, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I might, as you and the audience clearly understand, this is a vastly complicated issue involving multiple municipalities, multiple individuals, class action suit, state law, sovereign immunity laws, insurance laws. And I must tell you, in all honesty, that your city attorney and your staff have worked diligently. This information was not freely coming. It had to be extracted, and your city attorney is quite adept at that, at attaining the information that you have. And I must tell you of their diligent, hard, conscientious work that gives you the conclusion that he just arrived at. And we are in a rather enviable position because of their hard work, and I wanted you to be aware of that.
Very good.
Okay. When does this suit due to fruition?
Yes, excuse me. I think, my guess, looking at it, year and a half from now, things will come in. I'll give them to Mr. Lupo to distribute to you. It's a big number. Just so you know, we paid out, we did a spreadsheet on this, it's over $5 million, okay? You just think of what Miami paid out and other things. The chance, even if you wake up one morning and see that the Florida Supreme Court has made red light cameras illegal, does not mean we have to give the money back. We have numerous other avenues. So about a year and a half, we don't have to worry about that. We have coverage too, so we got like four walls up there, and I'll let you know good and bad news as it goes along.
I was in one of those once. I got a check for 1 penny. 1 penny.
Yeah, it's gonna be a thing
I
like
think
that.
the attorney's got a
It'll
lot.
settle. I'm just very hesitant to say don't worry about it, but don't worry about it.
Okay. We have number 5, Mr. Lupo, take that.
Yes, this issue has been before council many, many times. It's been before several different city managers. It's been before 2 city attorneys, and it has to do with a declaration by the city manager of a certain piece of property currently called Lake Cox, as to whether or not it is in fact a natural body of water or a man-made body of water. This issue dates back to the construction of many of the residents and the area around the Candlelight Court area. It goes back to engineering done by Mr. Clay Shake and construction development done by Mr. Keith Collenbaum. Given that, and given all of the research that I have conducted based on my predecessors, city managers, interim city managers, assistant city managers, 2 city attorneys, I can come to a conclusion that that body of water is in fact a man-made recreational lake constructed at the time to be such, and is therefore a man-made body of water and not a natural body of water. I understand Mr. Brown's concerns. I understand many of the issues that he brought forward very articulately. I understand some of the additional concerns in that area, but this decision is mine. It is based firmly on the work of my predecessors, on the information provided by 2 legal counsels, on their opinion. It is based in fact as far as I possibly can determine. And my determination, counsel, is that that body of water is a recreational, man-made body of water that the city continues to maintain as a recreational facility, fishing facility, etc. That is my declaration with respect to Lake Cox.
Ms. Brown, I still hope to see you. I guess you can respond.
Thomas Brown, 7436 Candlelight Court. Former Mayor Michael Cox and his father, Billy Cox, who was the mayor in 1979, walked into a heavily wooded area with no access by road, and there was a lake there. I said to Mr. Cox, "I do mean a pond?" He said, "No, a lake. It was formed by being the low area in the swamp. And then in 1979, Pasco County deeded to the city of Port Richey 1.78 acres submerged. It was there in 1979. Mike Wells deeded it to the city. There was no way to get in there and dig it, but Mr. Collenbaum increased it by 3% in size. And increasing it by 3% doesn't make it a dug lake. Thank you.
Next item.
We have boards and committees. See three gentlemen there. Anyone interested in planning and zoning board? Anyone have a nominee? I think we should honestly get to canvassing professionals that would be appropriate for this. Planning and zoning. We have a vacancy, and that is all I have.
Sir, you'd like to table the item again
We don't need a motion yet.
for next council meeting, sir? Thank you.
Thanks, Councilman. We got it.
You're done.
We are done. Yes, please.
Could I add something?
I kinda hate getting out this, or?
This came up at the last minute. Several weeks ago, the county changed their Class 1 through Class 7 fine structure. Okay, we, the city, prosecute our code enforcement complaints through the county. We therefore have to have the same fee structure as they do. They didn't raise them, they actually lowered some. It went, Class 1's not $155, now it's $150. It's actually cheaper. A couple went up $5. They were doing some rounding as well as change the cost, so we were put on notice by the county to change ours if we want to continue to prosecute our code violations, so we need to do this as quickly as possible. So I can't prepare any ordinances. It requires an ordinance change. If I could bring it back for a first reading at the next meeting, just changing this to comply with the county regulations.
I'll need a motion to,
Motion to comply.
okay?
Good
Second.
enough.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'll bring it back next time you can see
Okay.
it. And if you have any
Any other
questions?
things, Jim?
That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Old business?
To tell you the truth, you guys have done really well. We don't have much in the way of old business.
If we get by you, we're good. All right.
Well, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Oh, that is a way to run a railroad.
That's the way you do it.